My family was very dysfunctional. I am an only child. I started going into hospitals at the age of 12, psych hospitals. I have a history of suicide, a history of self-mutilation.
When I was working, at the end of my shift, someone bypassed the switch on the machine, and I was doing some maintenance on the machine, and the machine came on me, and I had caught my shirt sleeve and pulled me into the machine.
I had a serious substance abuse problem that started at the age of about 12 years old. Yeah, I drank a lot, and I did a lot of drugs.
I had a physical disability, and then a few years after that, I had a hemorrhagic stroke, which is like a aneurysm, a burst in the brain, and I had brain surgery, and that when I woke up, I couldn't talk, you know what I mean, or walk or anything like that for a while.
And then when I was about 14 or 15, I started doing drugs. Like I did LSD. I did probably too much. I did PCP. I did a lot of that, and I OD'd once on it, and I was unconscious. Start seeing psychologists and psychiatrists at about the age of 8 years old.
Well, I was cutting, and I was very disoriented. I was hearing voices, and I was at the age of 13, well, at the age between 5 and 7, I was molested. Between the age of 11, my stepfather molested me. So it was like, and my family just totally turned away from me when I got diagnosed. And when I was acting out, I was running away a lot because I was just, and my dad, when I was like 13, 14, physically abused me.
The thing I remember the most about it was my caseworker from ACT sent me to a rehabilitation type of program, and before I was released, it was part of my caseworker in the hospital to try to set me up with something when I left the hospital. And I think he was the one that spoke to Bob Crimmins. And Bob was, I guess, the counselor on the FACT team. And when I came back, I started participating with them.
I think when I lost my arm, it was mostly I was a really good worker there, and it was I was really kind of embarrassed a little bit. You know what I mean? That like people were like, "Oh, poor Rob," you know what I mean? And you know, I didn't want pity, or I didn't want anybody to have to take care of me because I felt different. You know, I felt like people were staring at me. When you have a disability, you feel different, and it can be discouraging.
We're no different than anybody else.
They've given me a chance. They've given me an opportunity to show that I can still be productive and work within the community and help, you know, and I can also help with other people with disabilities who I can relate to mentally and physically, you know, and I can help them be the best they can be.
I'm working now. I work for Publix. I worked for Publix before. I just started about 3 months ago. I bag groceries, and I walk people out to their car if they want me to, and I collect the carts. And right now, I'm doing as well as I am, I believe, because of the medication that's really working well.
They're my family. They care, they love me, they're there for me. They get me help when I'm not able to, or even when I am, they help me. and I don't feel abandoned by them like I do my family.
The FACT team takes interest in individuals who probably without the availability would not make it on their own.
Well, for a while I didn't work. I lost my way for a while and had some struggles. And after some time, I had a son, and he changed my life, my outlook on life. And so I started going to like vocational rehabs and things like that, and volunteering. And eventually, I got a job coach, and the job coach brought me to SMA.
So they've always been there to be there for people who didn't have anybody else to look after them and to set them in the right direction, you know, and teach them how to function and be successful in life.
I think with SMA and working in the community gives them a chance to, to realize that they can be part of society in a positive way.
I'm on the FACT team now, have been for I think 13 years now, and they have been a blessing in my life. They listen to me, and I've got a very trustworthy relationship with FACT, so I can reach out when I start getting sick.
I'm not really sure where I would be without without SMA. They've really been a blessing to me.
But I am living on my own. I have for at least the last 4 years, 3 years, because I was in group homes. And I have an apartment, and I decorated it beautifully. I love the way it looks. I did that with the money that I made at Publix.
A month and a half ago, my boss, Sandy, and Dave, they both asked me if I wanted to be a supervisor for SMA at the way station where I work at, and that was a big. It felt really good. It felt like where I was when I lost my arm. I was a supervisor at my job for Quaker Oats. I ran my own department there, and when that happened to me, it was, I felt like, well, I don't know how I'm ever going to get back to something like that again. And when they asked me if I wanted to be a supervisor, I felt like I was coming back up to, being successful. I'm always hoping to learn more and be able to interact with more people as a team, in our company.
I volunteer. I volunteer on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday here at ACT in the mailroom, and on Wednesday I work at the Librarian House.
If I didn't die from drugs, which I could have, or been put in jail, I don't know. I think that's where I'd be. I think I'd be dead.
And knowing that there's a company or like a place like SMA that you can go to that will hire you to be part of society, and they want you there. They want to make you better, and that's good on all.
And thank the FACT team for being there for others, and I pray that they never go away. They're a blessing, and without them, a lot of us would be lost.